Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome, I'm SimUK, and today I'm going to share with you my unboxing, installation and my first thoughts on the Trak RACER TR8 V3. Trak RACER have sent me this TR8 Mark III for free, and I will get to keep this as payment for this review. However, if you know me or you know my channel at all, you will know already that that does not guarantee a positive review. And I can tell you already that despite having many positives to share with you, I do also have some negatives and some suggestions for improvements regarding the TR8. And I will be sharing all of that information with you today in this video. It is my goal to provide to you the most honest, fact-based critical reviews on YouTube. If you find this review helpful, then please hit that like button, subscribe, and help to support the channel by donating via the links below. Thank you so much and enjoy the review. So Trak RACER have been making sim rigs since 2008. They recently reached out to me via email and asked me if I would like to review their TR8 Mark III sim rig. Now, I hadn't previously heard of Trak RACER as a company, so I had to do a little bit of research, and I very much liked what I saw. The TR8 Mark III is their middle ground sim rig for the more serious simmer, those who are starting to move towards serious simulation. It has an abundance of attachments and add-ons that are available. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show you all of them today, but predominantly these attachments are for sim racing, but they also have a number of attachments that are for flight simulation. They've actually got a brand new range of flight sim attachments coming out very soon. So if you're interested in seeing more information on that, do let me know in the comments section and I'll try and make sure that I get to follow up these videos with a flight sim rig. So guys, it's about that time where I need to give you my first thoughts on the Trak RACER cockpit system. Before I do that, I just want to say a massive thank you to Trak RACER, first of all, for asking me and giving me the opportunity to review this device, and secondly, for being so patient, because it's taking a long time for me to be able to collate all of the video footage that I recorded and edit it into something that I can use. Just to clarify, I won't be talking about the triple screens today. That's going to be a completely independent video of this. And so this is just going to focus entirely on the TR8 cockpit itself. I won't be talking about connecting controllers and pedals and stuff like that either, because that's irrelevant as part of the chassis build itself, because every wheel will be slightly different. And there's an awful lot I want to talk about that, and I need to try and keep this video as short as possible. Not doing a great job of that, am I? Nor will this constitute a final review. All of those videos will be following on later on, but for now, this is just my first thoughts based on I have spent some time with the chassis and used my G29 on it. So these are my initial first thoughts on the TR8 Mark III or Mark III, and I think it's incredible. I really do. It surprised me in a number of ways. First of all, on the website, they predict that you can build this thing in 30 minutes. Now, if you've got power tools and a ratchet set, I think that's possible. I think if you've built it once or you've watched somebody else build it once, there's every chance you could build it in 30 minutes. They use these in shows all the time. I'm pretty sure they rock up, roll out, unpack, up and ready to go in 30 minutes. I believe that 100%. I think for the normal people, like if this is the first time you've built it and you've got power tools in and stuff, easily somewhere between an hour and 90 minutes should be enough to do it. It took me a little longer than that, but I wasn't rushing and I made a couple of mistakes. Plus, I didn't have any power tools at all. I don't recommend that at all. It was a bit of a nightmare towards the end. The instructions are basically printed diagrams, and with all the bolts already installed, it's really quite straightforward. It's not difficult at all. Building it is quite easily managed by one person. I didn't really struggle particularly building the chassis at all. Having two people would have just made things that much easier, because obviously you've got half the amount of, or you can get double the amount of bolts unscrewed and screwed back in again. So yeah, if you've got two people helping you, I think that would be easier, but it's perfectly achievable on your own. The single monitor mount that comes with the TR8 is super easy to install. It's incredibly robust and it's definitely going to last. The whole thing is incredibly robust. I've still got some small reservations about that single screw / bolt that holds that whole thing stationary. I just feel like if there was another one, or if there were two bolts at the side and not at the bottom, I think I'm over anxious about it because of my my personal anxiety issues, but if for any reason that bolt ever dropped out or broke off or whatever, there's nothing really stopping that whole thing from swinging round, and obviously that would destroy your monitor. If it was in the side, I think I'd be more comfortable with it. If there were 2 bolts in there, I think I'd be more comfortable with it. I don't imagine anyone has ever had an issue with that system setup. It's just an anxiety thing in me, and I feel like I have to express it just in case it ever happens. For the sake of another bolt, or having 2 bolts in the side instead of at the bottom, I think that could be improved upon personally. As far as the product quality goes, this is incredible. I like the overall look and feel of this device, and the TR8 Mark III is very sleek and very stylish looking. It really is a top quality product, and it's also extremely robust. It's got those 2-inch cylinders that hold the whole thing together, and I promise you, they don't creak, they don't make any noise, they don't separate, they don't wobble, there's nothing at all. It is incredibly robust, and it's going to last you for a very, very long time without any issue at all. I'm quite a big chap. I'm not quite up to the 25 stone limit that they put on this, but I am sort of around the 21 stone mark. So if I can climb in and out of this thing and it doesn't wobble, crack, or shake in any way, shape or form, then it's rock solid, and it really is rock solid. And when I've got my wheel attached on there, the wheel is attached so strongly that I use that to pull myself up out of the bucket seat. It's incredibly well built. Everything about it is insanely top quality product. It really is. And then you've got the 5-year warranty guarantee as well. So even if something were amiss, they would instantly resolve it for you, which is really, really good. Now, I've got the rally seat, as I mentioned, and again, I think it's incredible. It's amazing how something so light can be so strong, and it's just about wide enough for me. The first time I used it, I think I tried it out for about 2.5, 3 hours, something like that, and I did feel like the sort of edges of the seat sort of dug into my leg a little bit, and at the end of that 3-hour session, I was like, "Oh, I can kind of feel that a little bit now." But interestingly enough, since then, I've spent 3, 4, 5 hours in the seat. It doesn't bother me at all. It's such good quality, and the foam, although only really quite thin, it really does give you enough support and comfort for long-term serious sim racing. It's really very impressive. Everybody who sat in that seat has been impressed with that seat. It's a really good seat. It's 300 quid. It's not the cheapest seat in the world, but I'd be hard pressed not to claim that it's probably the best seat I've ever sat in. It's really that good. It really is. And of course, you've got the sliders, so you can slide the seat forward and backwards, and you've got the adjustability on the seat. Now, in terms of the seat adjustability, and I'm going to draw more on this later on, it is relatively easy to adjust. But what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get out. You have to take the bolts out. You're going to have to move it. You have to put the bolts back in. That's not the end of the world. I just feel like you could have had some quick release bolts in there instead. Maybe just as a theory in the future, maybe that will make it less robust. I don't know. But to be honest with you, I've got the seat set up how I would like it, and it's been good enough for a 9-year-old. It's been good enough for me. The wife's had a go. My mother's had a go. So Nanny's been in it. We're all different heights and sizes and shapes and stuff. So it's accommodated all of us, just in this configuration it's in. And that means I haven't had to move the pedals or anything. I could have moved the pedals closer to the seat, which would have made it better for my 9-year-old daughter, probably the missus and my mum as well. But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of about the seat. If there was some way of quick releasing the seat and adjusting the height and stuff, that would be better. But to be honest with you, I think once you've got it set up in a bucket seat configuration, you're probably not going to move it at all anyway. So it's not a big deal. It's just I'm struggling to find things that I can complain about or give recommendations about, because I don't want to be all positive. Actually, I have got one thing I can mention, one negative that I can mention. Now, when I had my 27-inch monitor on there, it did rock from side to side a little bit. When I'm climbing in, it wasn't a problem, but when I was climbing out occasionally, I felt like it sort of tilted a bit with me. Now, I have since used it with triple screens on there, and with that extra weight at the front, it's solid. You can't tip it anywhere. It's not moving at all. but with just one small monitor on it, there is definitely going to be a bit of movement there, potentially. Depending on where you've got it, if you've got it up against a wall, that would probably help you out. If you don't weigh as much as me, that probably is going to help out as well. Or if you have a bigger monitor. Now, this is one of the other things, slight disappointment on my part. You can see this monitor behind me here. That's a 49-inch 4K TV. Now, unfortunately, the TR8 default monitor stand only goes up to a 27-inch. Now, the reason for that is because the, is it ISO mounting points at 47-inch telly sizes or above, no, above 47-inch sizes, you then go to the next ISO bracket size, which isn't accommodated in this pack, which is a bit of a shame. I would have loved to try this out with my 4K TV on there. I may even buy the extension brackets in order to do that, but to be honest with you, having sat down and tried the triple screens over a single screen, I can't see that happening. I can't see me wanting to do that because the experience has just been incredible with 3 screens. So yeah, just bear that in mind again. But the entire unit length and width ensures that it will fit in most spaces where you could fit a PC desk. So if you've got a desk that can fit like a couple of monitors and your PC on, then you've probably got enough space for one of these. Now the problem is, obviously, if you're going to have both a desk and this, then obviously you've got to have enough space for it. But like I say, there are loads of add-ons and attachments. One of the attachments which I'm definitely looking to get in the future is the keyboard and mouse attachment, because at the moment I've got a Logitech mini wireless keyboard, which I sort of spin about, you know, like those sign makers or those sign spinners or whatever, try and get your attention to go into shops. I kind of do that with it. I just spin it about, chuck it around all over the place, and it's great and it does that, but it's not the most convenient thing in the world. So having a mouse and keyboard attachment that I can just swing in and swing out as and when I need it, that's really going to help things, I think. So although it doesn't really cater for it, it doesn't really accommodate it, there is the opportunity for you to put the single monitor mount in and twist it. So if you've got it in the corner of your room and your telly's on there and you want to use it as a PC monitor whilst you're gaming, and then when you're chilled out on the bed or on the couch or whatever and you want to twist it, you can. Now officially that isn't supported, but there is no good reason why that shouldn't be a possibility, I think. I see no potential danger in doing that. Now obviously you're going to have to assess those dangers yourself in your current given situation with your monitor and your space, etc. But I think it's very doable, and I noticed a few people had asked whether or not you could do that, and I think yes you can. Now I mentioned before that a previous review from a couple of years back on version 1 had highlighted a bit of movement in the footplate. They've improved that, they've made that stronger, they've also made the wheel support stronger, and I don't know what the wheel was like before, but it is rock solid now. It doesn't move at all. Like I say, it can take 21 stone. It can lift me up. I grab hold of the wheel and lift myself up. It does not budge an inch. The pedals, however, I have noticed some movement. Now, this is a first look early review, so there's a bit of flexibility if I put a lot of weight on it. And I think that could have been easily alleviated with an extra harnessing point into the brackets on the bottom. But to be honest with you, it's minimal, and that's putting my weight on it. When you're sat in the seat and you're pushing the pedals, there is no way you've got that same kind of weight purchase. And to be honest with you, having played using this system quite a bit now, I really haven't noticed any issue at all, or play or movement. Now the only place I have noticed a bit of movement is when I put my feet down on the bottom of my G27 pedals. They do lift up a little bit. Now I've got to look at this properly and see if I can't tighten something up and get that more restricted. So just consider this to be like an earmark at the moment, because right now it doesn't pose a big problem. It's just something that I noticed that I wanted to mention, and partly to remind myself to have a look at it for the full review. In addition to that, the shifter mount system that's there it's a little bit limited. It's not the right shape or size to allow me to connect my Logitech Cytec side panel to it. I have managed to do that by hook or by crook, but it certainly isn't a solid solution. In addition to that, where it's mounted to the chassis and not to the seat, I find that if you need to move the seat forward or backwards in order to accommodate your leg position to be comfortable, that shifter is going to be out of position for you pretty much every single time, except for the one time you're fully forward. So it's not really a very good design. Having said that, there is a handbrake module which can be attached to the seat, and I think there's another shifter module which can be attached to the chassis bar itself, and I think that's got more adjustability to it. So this side mounted shifter is, I mean, it's great, it comes with the TR8, it's not an additional thing, but I don't think it works very well as a shifter. However, if they replaced that plate for something else, something that could take additional units and be attached to, then I think it could be very, very useful, because it's absolutely rock solid. It's not going anywhere. And you could have different pieces mounted on it. You could have like a tablet mounted there. You could have the keyboard and mouse mounted off of that. All of those attachments could be connected to that one arm. And I think it just feels like it's poorly utilized as a shifter. It accommodates pretty much every shifter you could possibly own, so that's great. But the fact that it doesn't slide with the seat just makes it not an ideal solution. It's not, put it this way, when I pull the seat fully forward, I still find that the shifter isn't exactly where I want it, and there's no way of adjusting that forward or backwards really. But like I say, it's so solid in that position, it could be better utilized as something else. If there was an attachment plate that you could put on there that you could attach other things to, it could be absolutely superb for that purpose. Like I say, I'd like to be able to attach my Cytec to it, and all I'd need to do that is just a slightly bigger plate attached to the top, so that I can get the slider underneath and do the nut up and get a good solid purchase on it. So yeah, I think that could be better utilised as something else. So I'm a little critical of that. It's awkward to put together unless you've got a ratchet set. Even if you've got an electric screwdriver set, you're going to struggle to put that in just because of the shape and the design of it. It's quite awkward to attach, it's quite awkward to install. It's not very accommodating. I'm not a big fan of it, if I'm being totally honest. And I think it could be better. I'd like to try out the alternative shifter option, and they were sending me a handbrake shifter option, but I haven't seen that at all. In addition to that, I was expecting to see their new flight sim gear. Now I'm really interested in that because, as I say, that panel arm could be fantastic for that kind of thing. At the moment, I wouldn't be able to attach my honeycomb throttle quadrant to it because there's nowhere to connect it to. But with just a slight modification, a different plate, I would be able to mount it there, and it would be incredible. Because it really would be incredible. It would be in exactly the right spot. It would feel very, very good. In addition to that, I would love to see the option to have a central held joystick. Now, I haven't seen anything to suggest that they've got anything like that, and I'm going slightly off topic here, aren't I? So I'll bring it all back and say there are loads of attachments that make this system even better than it currently is. But even as it is, even though I don't like the shifter mounted arm for the current purpose it has, I think the whole thing is incredible. It's so good. And just the immersion element of climbing into the cockpit, sitting down, hunkering low, getting in there with the seat and the pedals. It's a great experience, and it's so solid. It is so solid. It's incredible. I was surprised how solid it is. It's a really well built, really well designed, really sleek, sexy looking bit of kit. And I couldn't recommend it more highly. Honestly, it's surprising. It's surprising how good it is. And Trak RACER is a company that I haven't heard of, and I don't know why. Because I've been looking at cockpits for quite a while and thinking, not quite right. I don't quite feel that's the one for me, because it's quite an expensive outlay. Trak RACER, I'd never heard of at all. They never cropped up on any of my searches, and they've been around for a while. And I'm really surprised because based on what I've seen on this TR8, they are of the highest quality, and it's an incredible device. It really is incredible. I can't really express just how much I love this thing. It's insane. I love it so much. I'm trying to save up for a shed to dedicate a racing room just for this device. That's how good it is. It really is that good. But anyway, yeah. If you have any questions, please do let me know, and I'll do my best to answer. I've got to get this video out, and I'm not 100% happy. I'm never happy with the video quality I put out. It could always be better, but hopefully I've shown you enough that you're confident of the quality of the kit, and I've expressed enough information about the system and the potential positives and the potential negatives to give you a really clear understanding of what you're going to get. Regardless of any of the negatives I have mentioned, this thing is rock solid and it's incredible. The experience when you're racing in it is just brilliant. And not just racing, anything. Do you know what the best thing I did in this rig is? On the triple screens, I played cricket. It was amazing. I just sat there and played cricket for like 2.5 hours. It was superb. It just works so well. It's very versatile. It can be used for any gaming experience. It's so comfortable. It's so comfortable and it's so solid. It's amazing. I love this thing. I really do. Hats off to Trak RACER, because you guys should be really well known. And I don't know how I don't know you before this. I don't know how you have not cropped up on my list of things for cockpits and stuff. I just don't know how that's possible. Insane. Such a great company. Many thank yous to everyone out there. See you next time. Bye for now.